Sean, good to see you.
Nice to see you again.
I'm excited about meeting you. I'm excited about what we got going here because you seem to be a forward-moving, spiritual, zealous person that wants to make a difference in the world. And so I'm interested to see what's going on in that brain of yours.
All right. Well, let's crack it open.
Okay.
What would you like to know first? There's so much.
Well, what are you up to? What are we seeking to accomplish today?
Well, today I'd like to talk a bit about my group Conscious Awakenings that I've started. And since I've started this group, there's been certain synchronicities that have been coming into play, which is one of them is the movie Thrive, What on Earth Will It Take by Foster Gamble. And you can check out his site, it's thrivemovement.com. And what we're doing with our group is starting a Drive to Thrive movement. So we'll be playing this movie continuously over and over again. But we also have a Q&A afterwards where people can interact, pull their resources together, and create changes outside of what the movie provides over the internet.
So the movie is basically pointing out the world situation and pointing us in a direction to go that could impact the world in a way that changes it for the better?
Yes, it talks about devices that have been created over time for free energy that have been suppressed by certain people in the world. And this movie basically lowers the veil to where we can see where they trace where the money goes. And sorry about that. We're going to have to do some editing here.
Okay.
It'd be better if I read this to you.
Okay.
Thrive, What on Earth Will It Take? The World is Waking Up. An unconventional documentary that lifts the veil on what's really going on in our world by following the money upstream, uncovering the global consolidation of power in nearly every aspect in our lives. Weaving together breakthroughs in science, consciousness, and activism, Thrive offers real solutions, empowering us with unprecedented and bold strategies for reclaiming our lives and our future.
Okay. Have you ever seen Zeitgeist?
Yes, the Zeitgeist movement. I have been following the Zeitgeist movement for some time. The only thing with the Zeitgeist movement, there were certain means they were bringing it out, and it was more on a negative aspect. So I was kind of hoping somewhere down the line somebody would be able to use the information that they have and turn it into something more positive. And I believe Foster Gamble has done that with his movie Thrive.
Okay. Can we give anything away, or without giving anything away?
Well, it's all being given away now. So, but I mean, you could pretty much tell anybody what's going on in the movie, but I still suggest that they come and see it for themselves and really get together with people afterwards and talk about it, because that's when it really brings out a bunch of different creative ideas, and everyone has a part to play in this.
Are we talking about kind of a new world way of living?
Well, there's a few sites that I've been following, divinecosmos.com by David Wilcott. And his information that he's been getting says literally that we've graduated. We've come to a point where we are all starting to wake up. And the New World Order is now the Old World Order, which is literally going to bring a New World Order. So yes, it's not the New World Order anymore, but it will be a New World Order, if you get my meaning. But a different consciousness, a different way of thinking.
I remember years ago when I was working in sustainability, when we were finding out that there's too much carbon dioxide in the air, it's heating up the planet, we're going to have climate change, and learning to live sustainably, a whole philosophy arose from that. But the point I want to make about that is that we discovered that there was a segment of society that was already in that movement towards sustainability. It was arising in people's minds that we need to make a change. And they're all over the place. When the Occupy movement started, people came out of the woodwork that are already prepared knowing that things need to change. Now, the things that are going to be hard to change are the things that are creating the mess to begin with, which is government and all the things that Thrive talks about. And we get a better understanding of why the world's in the mess that it's in.
Yeah. this is why I like Thrive so much, because he brings out the point that all the changes that we've tried to make have been on a negative way of thinking. It's kind of like resisting with resistance, and you're always going to get conflict with that. So it's literally waking up into a new consciousness of changing through letting go, releasing. That's the only thing that will actually stop the wheel of karma, is to forgive and to move on. That this 1% that have actually created the society that we're in is not completely responsible for it, because we've all partaken in it. So literally to see the problems with this and to change it, but to go into it with an open mind and do it in loving ways. And the Occupy Portland movement and the Occupy the World movement, I've had calls from friends saying that, it makes no sense to them because they're sitting around and they don't know what to do, because the situation is like the Matrix. It's so complicated. But if you come and watch this movie, I believe it's a big answer to the Occupy situation. It might not be the only answer, because there's many answers out there. And that's why my group Conscious Awakenings is there also, to get other people in there to talk about these things and come up with more ideas than what just the movie offers.
And then we can be the change we want to see in the world.
Exactly, like Gandhi says. And there's something, I really follow the Beatles and John Lennon a lot. John Lennon, his song Imagine is wonderful, and I play it all the time at our events. But also he said something to this extent. He said, a dream you dream alone is only a dream. A dream you dream together is reality.
I like that. So we're basically starting to dream together through discussion how to make those changes.
Yes, I believe what we've been doing so far, we've all been dreaming together because we've all created this reality that we're in. But it's a dream that we haven't been in control of. And now that we're waking up, we're dreaming lucid dreams, they're called, to where we're actually in control of our dreams. And, there's articles that we read about in our group from science, and it goes from science to philosophy to spirituality, all of it. Science is just making a full circle around, proving that all these ancient philosophies and societies were correct from the beginning. That 90% of our DNA they called junk DNA. There were Russian scientists that decided that nothing nature or God creates is junk. So they did research on that and finding out that our spoken word, our thoughts, and everything are literally creating that 90% DNA to transform, to change within us.
So DNA is not a closed system, but it's actually an open taking in from outside and affecting the actual condition of the genes.
Yes. And the movie Thrive literally points out how we're basically kept into a small box, a small way of thinking, that we're incapable, we're unworthy, we're poor, we're this or we're that. And now that we're opening up to that, we are abundant, we are thriving, we are living, we are loved. Everything starts to transform and change. We're actually going through a change, a shift in our planet, because it shows every 26,000 years, our fossil records shows a huge leap in evolution. And we're reaching that 26,000 year period, and that's why the Mayan calendars and many other calendars are matching up with the Mayan calendar. But with every ending is a new beginning.
Oh, so 2012 is not the end of the world?
No, absolutely not. I believe the world's going to be here for quite some time. But everybody has different thoughts and beliefs on that.
Well, I hope it's going to be around. I got kids. I want to, and I wish they would get a better world to live in. And it's pretty difficult to survive in this economic climate.
Yeah. Well, not only with that, they also, have you heard of indigo children?
Yeah.
Or crystal children?
Yeah.
Christos children? That are being born that already know that there's something different about what's going on, that they don't want to go with the flow. So they're already being problem children in elementary school.
Yeah. Don't they name that ADD?
They got many names for it. I believe that's one of them.
Yeah. Where was I seeing something about schooling? It was in the Thrive movie. Goes into how it was actually developed.
Yeah. With 12-year process, because it takes that long to literally get us programmed. And not only that, One of our meetings, it's next Wednesday. We talk about the spoken word and what it's doing to our DNA, going through that transformation. And they talk about, the messages are within the words everywhere. Like when you watch TV programs, it's called a program because that's literally what it's doing. It's programming you. And you know how they say it's best to live in the moment because each moment is a present moment is a gift from God. Present, and it's a gift. I mean, it's simple things like that, and you can go deeper into it, but there's meanings behind the words on everything. And sometimes we put those words out there without really thinking what we're saying.
Okay. So we're here to speak about what appears to be a problem, but really we're talking about a transition is happening, and we're wanting to see what that transition is going to be and how we can align ourselves up with that and see a transformation of the world to become a more hospitable, thriving bunch of communities of people.
Yes. My whole life since I was coming up, I always visualized creating heaven on earth. So there's a lot of people that have different beliefs on what's going to happen, whether it's going to happen on December 21st, 2012, or it's going to be a process. My experience with it, and I'm sure it's with most, it's been a process up till now, and it's going to continue to be a process. It's not something that's going to happen on a particular day. So what I am still thriving for is to creating heaven on earth. Some people say that we're not going to be in this physical form anymore. There's so many different theories. There's quantum physics with the string theories, and maybe things are breaking off into parallel universes and so forth. The thing that I look at it as is we've expressed so many negative things in our lifetime, and now it's the time to express love. And when you express love in an outward form, it ignites something within others, and then they start to express, and then it just expands and grows.
I've been talking a lot about love with people lately and coming up with a definition that works. Love. Okay, let's just get a lot of love in the world. Well, how do you do that? What is love? Some religious institutions say all is God and all is love. Well, I don't believe it personally.
You don't believe it personally?
No.
So in other words, you feel there has to be the opposite aspect.
There is an opposite aspect.
Which is fear.
There is fear in the world.
And plenty of it.
Yeah. So in this world, what's real is love is in a battle against other forces that are making a mess of the world. That's why it's a mess.
Yeah. Well, the way that I understand it, though, is fear has no real substance to it because fear is just lack of love. So it's like darkness is lack of light.
But since most humans are used to living with fear, they don't know what a state of without fear is like.
Then I would say it's up to us to show them.
Or engage in discussion that'll lead towards a better understanding of what love is, yes, and how we can implement that into our daily lives. And so Thrive is a good chance to do that, isn't it?
I think it's a great opportunity to start getting involved. And also our group Conscious Awakenings will have one meeting a month to where community comes together and pulls their resources. And we have judges that are coming now, people that are working on the Rife technology, and also the Tromley technology, which are creating free energy devices. So we have a lot of skilled people that have a lot of information to share with others, and a lot of accessibility to technology to literally put these devices into use.
If we had free energy, then the greedy that own it all, like the oil companies and what have you, they'd have to let go of their claim to ownership of energy.
Well, it's not so much in Foster Gamble brings this out in the movie. It's not so much the money anymore because they have as much money as they need to do anything that they want to. It's the power. But they're actually losing their grip on power and they're losing their grip on the money. And that's why they're being really desperate right now with putting this bill that was last year that Obama had signed for bringing in the martial law. and taking away our freedoms, completely with this law. If this law was to pass, they could basically arrest anybody without question, lock them away for good, and not have to do anything about it, not even really have to be justified over doing it.
Yeah, welcome to communism.
Here in America.
And the Third Reich and the Gestapo running around listening to your phone calls to see if you use the wrong words.
Yeah. And I mean, there's things, that I'm doing that basically they could say, I'm speaking against the federal government. The federal government is a private corporation. Honestly, I don't fear any of this anymore. I've gone through my life now probably about 3 times thinking the world was going to end. Y2K was one of them, and I was in Los Angeles when the riot started with the Rodney King thing, and I'm mixed with many different nationalities, and but I look Caucasian, and there were certain people that had resentment towards me, and I just thought the world was going to end, and I got tired of fearing things, and I was born and raised Catholic, so it was imprinted in me to fear God, fear the devil, fear everything, but it just went against what I was being taught, because if God is love, how could God, torment us with, throwing us in hell or anything like that? I just didn't understand it. So I looked for other means, and it got me on the New Thought path. And the New Thought path got me to open up more consciously. And now I've come to a point to where I'm open, I'm expanding in love, and I'm not going to fear anything anymore. And the more people that step out of this fear-based thinking, the more power that they lose control of. And in other words, that is their power, is by keeping people in fear. So if you step out of that fear, and everybody does it, because like they say in the movie, it's a pyramid system. The people down at the bottom are us. We have really no clue as to what's going on, and then the next level, and next level, and next level. But each level only knows so much, and they keep all those levels in line by fear. Fear of if you're going to have money to pay your bills. Fear if the law is going to come and get you, because they say many things that you can and cannot do, which we already know, like marijuana. Marijuana is a miracle plant. The reason that it was created to be illegal was because of the fact of hemp. Hemp, you could make so many different products at 1/10 the cost, and it would basically put cotton industries, timber companies, all these businesses completely out of business. They would lose money. So it's like Foster does. You follow the money, and you kind of see why these certain things were taken out.
Okay. Wow, humanity, we got work to do.
But we got a lot of work to do.
First off, just to come to understand, like you say, follow the money. Understand why the world's in the position it's in, the situation. Okay, when are we going to show the movie?
Well, we're going to show the movie here at the Space. We're going to show it Thursday. This is January schedule. Thursday, January 26th, and Sunday, January 29th at 7 p.m. here at the Space, which is 9970 Southwest Beaverton Hillsdale Highway, Beaverton, Oregon, 97005. And we're also showing it at Unity of Beaverton on Friday, January 27th at 7 p.m. at 12650 Southwest Angel Street, Beaverton, Oregon, 97007. And it will be hosted by Conscious Awakenings, each showing, and there will be a Q&A after each one.
Okay.
And it's a suggested $5 love offering, and all money goes to paying for the establishment where we show it, and also for advertising.
Okay. So we're going to show it twice here.
Twice here this month, and hopefully many more times after that.
Okay. And the question and answers at the end. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that actually, everybody gets so much more out of it with the Q&A afterwards. Because they get to interact with others, we get to talk about what takes place in the movie, and the things that we can do to help change it.
You mentioned about the Occupy movement, that basically everybody was just kind of hanging out because they didn't know what to do. We don't know what to do.
Exactly.
Don't know what the problem is, don't know how to fix it, but people are just willing to stand out in an open field and go, well, we'd certainly like to see some change.
Something has to be done. They just interviewed Foster Gamble about 2 weeks ago, and he said that he has everything set up on his site to where you can come in there and you can place your vote for petitions, basically to end the Federal Reserve and several other things. And once they get a certain amount of people, and he knows that the force is there, it's already taking place in other countries and everything, then they're going to act on this. So that's why we're going to try to get as many people to come into the website, interact that way, and then of course we have our own little side projects we'll be working on.
Okay. So we're finding out that people are coming out of the woodwork knowing something's up. And maybe they don't know what to do yet, but that knowledge is becoming evident. And so pretty soon we're going to have a whole new world.
Yes.
It's going to be a great place to live.
Yes. People
are going to love one another.
I think it's great now, but it could be a lot better.
Yeah, certainly. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you on those dates for the movie and the talk.
And talk to you some more when we get some more scheduled for showings.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to write in and chat with us about it, go to thespacestudios.org and give us your opinion. We want to talk about it. All right. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Dave.
All right.